Hello, Blackhawks Nation. Welcome to the Blackhawks Daily, your favorite recap of the daily buzz around your Chicago Blackhawks. I'm your host, PJ Benoit, and thanks for tuning in as we uplift, support, and celebrate our beloved Blackhawks tearing through their centennial season. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't already, please take a moment and hit the subscribe button. It means a lot to me, and also it'd just be awesome to have you around and along as we build this fantastic and growing community. You'll see that people in the comments are freaking-tastic. So we've got our top 4 topics of the day, so let's dive in, shall we? So game night, the Blackhawks are in LA to take on the Kings at the Crypto.com Arena, and this one's got measuring stick game written all over it. So here's the matchup. Hawks 11-9-6 on the road at the LA Kings, who are 12-7-7. The Kings just had their 5-game point streak snapped with a 3-1 loss to Washington, where the Caps controlled a lot of the night and held LA to 1 goal. The Hawks come off that 4-3 shootout loss in Vegas, the real heartbreaker kind of, but where we led twice, got a highlight reel goal from Bedard, probably one of the best ones of the year, and still we walked away with a point, right? We should have walked away with 2, but we got a point. So you got a Kings team who's annoyed after getting shut down at home. You got a Hawks team that feels like it left a win on the table in Vegas. And who personally has not felt that they left a win on the table in Vegas? So both clubs are trying to prove that they're more than just fun stories early this season. The Kings are sitting 3rd in the Pacific Division, and a couple key notes about them. They're weirdly better on the road than they are at home this year. They're 10-2-4 on the road, but just 2-5-3 at the old Crypto.com Arena. Offensively, they like to spread it around. Adrian Kempe leads with 23 points. Kevin Fiala has team-high 10 goals, and Byfield is driving play and is their assists leader. In the net, Darcy Kemper has been the workhorse with a 2.37 goals against average and 8 wins, even after that loss to Washington. So odds makers have the Kings as clear favorites. Simulations have them around a 65% chance to win. Books have LA favored on the money line. So on paper, tough building, tough opponent. Not a lot of people picking Chicago. Perfect spot for us to be the spoiler. So the Kings have taken 4 of the last 6 against the Hawks, including that 4-3 win back in October at the UC. LA under Jim Hiller plays that classic Kings style. Heavy on the forecheck, lots of shot volume, structure throughout the neutral zone. They're not necessarily going to overwhelm you with pure speed like some teams, but they can grind you down over 60 minutes for sure. The Hawks, meanwhile, are leaning into their identity. Speed with guys like Bedard, Nazar, Moore, and Green. We are more aggressive off the rush, and when they're on a power play that's been dangerous for stretches of this year, this is very much a who controls the pace game. So here's 3 things I'll be watching. Can the Hawks attack LA's home ice wobbles, right? The Kings' home record is not great for a team this good. That 2-5-3 mark in their own building tells you they haven't totally figured it out at home. If the Hawks can get the first goal, or at least avoid giving up the bad early one like we did the last 2 games, they can flip the pressure back on the Kings and on their crowd, take them out of it, right? Number 2, the Bedard line versus Kopitar and Kempe, right? You know that LA is going to try to get Anze Kopitar's line and their top D matchups out against Bedard as much as possible. Kempe's their points leader. Kopitar is still elite defensively and still dangerous offensively. They'll have to try to make life, or they're going to want to try to make life hard for Chicago's top units. For the Hawks, it's all about Bedard finding ways to create, which he has done this season, right? Before, he's been taking what his teammates have given him and making some spectacular plays. This year, he tends to be more creative, which is really cool. Also, Bedard's wingers winning the puck battles, and the second line with Nazar, Moore, and Bertuzzi punishing LA if they load up too hard on Connor. If both Bedard and Nazar's lines are going, the Hawks absolutely have a shot to steal this. A third thing is special teams and discipline, which we always talk about. The Kings aren't super killing it on the power play, but they have enough skill, Fiala, Kempe, Byfield, and Doughty, that if you give them 4 or 5 looks, they definitely can make you pay. So the Hawks need smart sticks in the D zone, no lazy hooks or holds after losing positioning, and their own power play to create momentum, even if it doesn't always score, right? If we just put pressure on them, put them back on their heels a little bit, that'll be awesome. So on the road, special teams are often the difference between a good effort and actual points. So what's my prediction? So given the numbers, yeah, the Kings are supposed to win this game, right? But the Hawks have been hanging with good teams all year. They went toe-to-toe with Colorado and Vegas, right, most recently. We flipped it on Anaheim. So this feels like another one of those prove-it nights. I'm going to say it's a tight one. If Chicago stays out of the penalty box and gets an average or better goaltending, which we have, right? Knight has been fantastic, and Soderblom, except for the Buffalo game, has been really, really solid. And the Buffalo game was not his fault. And we get production from both the Bedard and Nazar Moore line. Well, then I think Hawks 4-3 in regulation, maybe in overtime, but I want it in regulation. Big picture, a win in LA, especially when we have two coming up, would be huge. I would love for us to walk into Saturday night's game with a little chip on our shoulder and being in the driver's seat. But it's, it'd be huge, not just for the standings, but for the confidence of this young group on a tough road swing. So drop your predictions in the comments. Who do you think scores first for the Hawks? Who do you think will be a difference maker tomorrow night? Moving on from there, let's take a look. We've got the Blackhawks have been gaining ground during division opponents' power rankings and their collapse, right? So thanks to Blackhawk Up for this. We're going to break down something that hasn't happened very often in recent years. The Blackhawks gaining ground while the rest of the division seems to fall apart. So that's right. Even during a week where the Hawks only picked up one win in 4 games, they still climbed in the power rankings thanks to total meltdowns by Nashville, St. Louis, and Winnipeg. So let's get into it. What happened this week, how the Hawks held ground, and what it means leading into another tough road swing, right? So the week that was 1-1-2, but that's better than it sounds. The Hawks kicked off Thanksgiving week with one of the most frustrating games of the season, an overtime loss to the Wild, where officiating somehow managed to be a part of the conversation and the star of the show, unfortunately. Then came the turkey hangover game, a 4-3 loss to the Preds. Felt like a missed opportunity, plain and simple. It absolutely was. We should have won that game. Then, here's where things turned. Down 3-0 against Anaheim, this young group doesn't fold. We rattled off 5 straight goals, snapped a 5-game losing streak, and showed exactly why this season feels different. Then on Tuesday night, a hard-fought shootout loss to Vegas, and honestly, one of the more entertaining games of the year. So sure, it's a 1-1-2 week on paper, but on ice, this team looked a whole lot better than the record shows. So Bedard, 3rd star of the month, 1st star in Chicago. We've got to talk about this kid, of course, right? He's the cornerstone. Bedard continues to be the story, not just for Chicago, but for the entire league. 4 goals, 3 assists, another stretch of highlight reel plays. He was named NHL's 3rd star of November, the first Blackhawk in years to earn league-wide hardware this early in the season. Bedard has officially passed promising young star stage, and he's becoming a force. What about Ryan Green? 2 goals and assists. Another week proving that he belongs right next to Bedard on the top line. Every game, Green looks more confident, assertive, and more like a long-term piece of the core. The youth movement doesn't just feel real, it is real. And so here's where things get fun. In Blackhawk Up's latest power rankings, Chicago lands at 22nd, right? Not world beating, but more importantly, ahead of Nashville and St. Louis, who both continue the crater. Your bottom of the league right now, Calgary at 32, Vancouver at 31, Nashville at 30, St. Louis at 29, Buffalo at 28. And meanwhile, the Hawks sit ahead of Toronto, Montreal, Seattle, and Edmonton, teams with far more veteran talent. And the reason why we're climbing, well, we're kind of hanging steady and the rivals are falling apart. The Preds have dropped 9 of their last 13 games, still don't have an answer in net. The Blues can't score, they can't defend, and look completely lost under Jim Montgomery. With the Jets, Noah Hellebuck, no hope. They're spiraling, plain and simple. It's not always about how fast you climb. Sometimes it's about how much slower the teams around you are sinking. Now, if you want to talk about the East, war zone, right? The Metropolitan Division is a complete chaos. All 8 teams are within 5 points of each other, and if the season ended today, last place Blue Jackets would hold a Western Conference wildcard spot. So, whole different story over there. Washington is riding a 5-game heater. Philly's won 5 of 7. We're used to the East being strong, but this year it's on another level. So we got the California swing, right? We stay out west for 3 road games. Tonight, Saturday against the Kings, Sunday against the Ducks. Chicago's already lost to the Kings once this year. We'll be looking for a payback. In Anaheim, the big story is whether the Bedard-McTavish drama carries over from their last meeting. You know it, I know it, the Ducks know it. These two guys do not like each other, so Sunday could get a little spicy. If the Hawks take 2 out of 3, this road trip is a success, no question. So this week kind of felt like a turning point. Like that Vegas game really kind of put a highlight on it. The Hawks didn't dominate the standings, but they dominated the trend lines. Bedard is exploding, Green is emerging, and while the Hawks stabilize, the division around them is falling apart. So you can feel it. Something is building here in Chi-Town. Let me know in the comments, how many points do you think the Hawks are going to get on this California trip? And where do you think they finish in the next week's power rankings? So that will be interesting to see. You guys are always way smarter than me. And now let's talk about something big, right? It's not just a good stretch of hockey, not just a hot start. We're talking about the leap, that rare seismic moment when a young player goes from promising to franchise changing. So right now, 3 centers across the league are doing exactly that. Leo Carlsson, Macklin Celebrini, and most importantly for us, Connor Bedard. According to the Athletic's Dom Lucian and Sean Gentile, and read the article. It's a really long article, but it's really, really good. So check it out. All 3 of these guys are not just climbing, they're skyrocketing. They're already among the top 5 scorers in the entire NHL through the first 25 games of the season, and they're dragging their franchises, Chicago, Anaheim, and San Jose, straight out of the wilderness. So let's break down what the leap is and how Bedard is taking it with authority. So every generation has the leap. Crosby and McDavid exploding into superstardom as teens. Makar and Hughes redefining the Norris race. McKinnon and Rantanen becoming 2-man avalanche. And now this new trio is following the same script. The leap is not gradual improvement. It's not baby steps. It's a massive, sudden jump. The moment elite talent, physical maturity, and NHL experience all collide. A developmental coach told The Athletic, all of it clicks at the same time. Suddenly, you feel like you can do whatever you want on the ice. That's exactly what's happening for Bedard. So let's talk about it, right? While Celebrini and Carlson are incredible stories, Bedard is the one proving that last year's growing pains were just a prologue. So here's what's changed. His skating is on a different planet. The data shows that Bedard is now in the 92nd percentile or better in multiple speed bursts, 18 to 20 miles per hour, 20 to 22 miles per hour, and even above 22 miles per hour. He's topping his numbers from last year in the high-speed categories already. That's physical maturing, that's strength, and that's explosiveness. And that's the stuff that turns elite shooters into unstoppable forces. And we talked about it. He was working on this on the offseason, right? Working on his speed and his explosiveness. So it's obviously paying off. Number 2 is his mind is leveled up. One coach said, people think Bedard has simplified his game, but the reality, he's learned what plays work and which ones don't in the NHL. And that is the difference between a star and a superstar, not just trying to create or recreate the highlight reel stuff from his junior years, but learning how to solve NHL-level problems in NHL-level ways. Another scout even said it more bluntly. He went back to the well with what worked in the juniors, and now he's learned new dimensions in his game. And that's a terrifying sentence if you're an opposing defenseman, right? All the tools on Bedard's belt. Number 3, the impact on the Blackhawks is massive with Bedard on ice on the 5-on-5. The Hawks are outscoring opponents 25-20, a huge shift from last season's struggles. This isn't just a kid learning. This is a franchise player driving results. That's the leap, right? And that's real. It's not going away because here's the wild part. Among the league's best players, the Tier 1s and Tier 2 guys, when they made their leap, 80% of their 25-game stretches stayed above their previous baseline for the rest of the season, meaning when a superstar arrives, he stays. And Bedard is already pacing over 4 points per 60 minutes, the same ballpark as Celebrini and Carlson, right in line with what you'd expect from a true franchise player. This isn't a heater, it's not temporary, it's a beginning. And what it means for the NHL is that Bedard, Carlson, and Celebrini, all 3 are dragging their teams out of the basement. They're shaking up standings. They're disrupting the league's usual order. Because for years, we lived in a world where McDavid and Draisaitl dominated. McKinnon and Makar chased awards. Kucherov and Matthews put up monster numbers. But the next wave isn't coming. It's already here. And the Hawks, well, we've got one of the for sure guys. As one scout put it, there are other guys or other young guys who are maybes. Bedard, Carlson, Celebrini, they're for sures. So Connor Bedard isn't just taking a steep step forward, he's taking the leap. He's joining the class of players who don't just play the game, they change it. And Hawks fans, well, we're watching it happen live. This is the moment every rebuild dreams of, when the franchise player becomes the franchise. So let me know in the comments, do you think Bedard finishes in the top 5 of scoring this year? Is this the start of his breakout into the league's elite? Well, we're going to see. So now let's get to the comments. Of course, Joshua Bauman, 3209. Hey, PJ, what a heartbreaker. My sweetheart and I were pretty distraught at the loss after our boys played so well. He's talking about Vegas game, obviously. We were so close to beating a cup contender in their own house. Bedard's goals made the list of the most insane hockey moves I've seen all year. Knight was out of this world. Bertuzzi's a true road warrior. Nazar looked like he's back, even though I don't know why he approached the shootout the way he did. Yeah, Nazar is just blazing speed, and yet he slowed it down on the shootout. Trying to get fancy, who knows? But unfortunately, it didn't pay off. You're right that there needs to be more strategy going into those. And keep the foot down. When we have the lead, for goodness sake, we got to close out these games. Your words to the universe's ears, my friend. I think the league is starting to take us seriously, and it's really cool to watch. Safe travels, and thanks for the content. You're very welcome. On all counts, thank you for your contributions there, Mr. Joshua. Lester 701, the commander. Repeat offender extraordinaire. Congratulations to the 100th episode. Thank you very much. I think you've been here since the beginning, buddy. Way to go. Keep up the great videos. Great game last night. Sorry we didn't win last night. Got a point out of it. If the Blackhawks keep up this style of play, those road games will be exciting, and wins will come. Have a great day, all. Let's go Blackhawks. Connor Bedard and his company, he's talking about the Vegas game. Bedard and company are on fire. Also, P.S. Practice the shootout and attacking the breakaways on open nets. The power play needs help now. Your words, the God's ears. Thank you very much for that. And we have I'm Stressed, who is a new contributor. Welcome to the channel, I'm Stressed. Fairly sensitive topic, my hot take, but the amount of Golden Knight fans gloating about Carter Hart on Twitter and word for word saying that we lost to a rapist, like that's something they were proud of after this game, has been disgusting, especially since Carter Hart was proven innocent. Is it a hot take to believe that a statement should be made threatening to start banning people from in-person games if they continue to spread a harmful and untrue narrative? Okay, so I'm stressed, you're making me stressed. But that being said, of course the subject matter is no laughing matter. Carter Hart is a public figure, so it's really hard for slander against public figures. Everyone has freedom of speech, unfortunately, and unfortunately a lot of people choose to use it unwisely, right? Or just in a crappy way. Banning people from games, I don't think you can really ban people from games unless there's like an actual threat, actual promise of harm against somebody or property or something. But just being a jerk and being a keyboard warrior and saying crap about someone, plus, first of all, that's not going to get you banned from a game. Second of all, it's really hard to prove it, right? If someone just has a name as a username that's not their real name, it's really hard to say, oh, that person can't come to the game because their ID doesn't say that. So it's unfortunate. It's super unfortunate. That whole Carter Hart situation, unfortunate across the whole board. He was acquitted because the prosecution didn't cover the burden of proof. And I think it was a summary judgment. I don't even think it went to a trial. I'm not a lawyer at all, but this is what I know, or that's what I heard. So I don't know. It's just unfortunate all around. Clearly, it's that type of taunting is severely crappy. So I don't approve of it either. And I wish we could just give people super bad taste awards because they're just jerks on the internet. So anyway, thank you for your contribution. Thank you for coming to the channel and being a part of it. Really do appreciate it. So that is a wrap for today, folks. my beloved Blackhawks Nation. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Please like and subscribe. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. Really, truly, thank you very, very much for your support and for sharing about the channel to all your family, friends, and neighbors. Get them all in here. The more, the merrier. It's a lot of fun in here, you know. If you made a comment, thank you for sharing your thoughts and your expertise and your passion about the Hawks with us all. And if you're a repeat offender in the comments section, thank you so much for your contributions. Absolutely an honor building this community with you. I just love it. It makes my everyday. And thank you to you all as we celebrate the very best team in hockey with the very best fans in all of sports, that's you guys, in the very absolute best city this world has ever known, Chi-Town. So that does it for now. I am PJ, and we will see you next time on the Blackhawks Daily.